I'll go ahead and I'll open the meeting and start with pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. I can ask for approval of this morning's agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next, I can ask for consideration of approval of the minutes dated February 28th and March 2nd of 2022.
I will make a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next I have is the approval or consideration of approval of claims for payment dated March 9th, 2022.
Make a motion to approve the claims for payment.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next I have is consideration of a motion to return to fully in-person Board of Supervisors meetings, but also at the Board of Supervisors discretion, continue to live stream its public meetings for the public's convenience.
You want to go in detail on, I'll make that motion.
Okay,
And I'll second it.
okay, discussion.
You want to explain that?
Well, with the public health emergency declaration ending and most public entities having already gone back to in-person, discontinuing some of their live streaming, I think it's important that we maintain the live streaming capabilities in some fashion in a view only fashion that will still be archived on the county's website utilizing the YouTube library or some other platform if YouTube would happen to go away, but they'll all be archived there.
So very similar to what we did before we started the Zoom process. We used to YouTube everything. Now we're going to continue with the Zoom to be put on as the YouTube.
Live stream platform, in case something happens to Zoom, we're going to do everything we can to make sure there's a viewing option live.
Okay.
With that. I just don't want to corner us into, it has to be Zoom, in case something happens with Zoom, that we're going to do everything we can to make sure there's a viewing capability for the public.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Taylor, I've got a secondary roads department report with the consideration of approving the contract for the bridge over Main Street in Alden.
Yep. So before we do that, I'll just let you know, like I went to the WASA meeting last night, kind of the same deal they're signing up for. And they want to move forward, but there should be 100% paid for by the state. So that'll be nice. Yep.
Okay.
So on to the Alden Bridge. They had their city council meeting yesterday, a special meeting for this. So I went and attended, and you know, we've been into this since before I started, and they decided that they do not want to bond for this at the moment. So they voted they would prefer to not move forward. According to our 2080, you guys have the authority to move forward with the project if you want. But if Alden doesn't think they can afford it at this time, then I guess that's how they feel. I tried to explain to them that it's just gonna cost more. I mean, if they want to wait 5-6 years, that cost is gonna skyrocket. So
We can force them into the project.
we could.
And like a drainage report that an engineer offers, how long is the bridge, the design valid for?
I spoke to the designer and we both kind of felt the same, that there would be minor changes, but it should be 95%
Okay,
the same.
all right.
So that part shouldn't change too much.
And can you refresh my memory on the dollar amount that we've already spent on the project?
Sure. So right now, that's 230,000 has been spent, and we split that 50-50 according to the 2080 we signed. So, and we've paid for all that so far. So currently the city of Alden owes us 115 grand. Just under.
And how long would the bids be good for?
We have 30 days and it was the 18th of February, maybe 17th or 18th of February.
So we're pushing that.
Yep.
Just making a couple notes here.
The one thing, you know, and
We could, that 115,000 they owe their portion are they asking to be paid over time or?
yes, they would prefer to not pay it all at once. They would prefer to spread it out over 5 years, which we do with pretty much every city for stuff like this. So
But we always do the project when we do that.
true. You know, they had a lot of discussion about the people that use this bridge. They feel like it's just truckers. It's not people that pay taxes in their town. So that's another reason they're willing to wait. They thought they could lower the load limit on it, make it last longer. It was a 3-2 vote. It was definitely a split decision within their city council. They have the bonding room. They just don't want to be up at their max.
Is this something we could table till our Friday meeting and invite them in for this
Yeah, if you want
conversation?
to ask Mayor Fiskus and any members of their council,
Get whoever can show up.
I think that's probably a good idea.
What
And then-
time Friday then?
One,
What time's our next levy hearing?
8:05.
I would
So-
have it here the same.
Set this Friday?
I mean, I would prefer bringing them in before this decision's made. I don't like the idea of throwing it off the table. Because the cost is just gonna go up. If we do throw it off the table, are we gonna be into it 3 years from now for twice the money?
Right.
Maybe that's even worse idea.
And what's the share of, what are the shares of funding sources again, Taylor?
So with so right here, we have the bid for just a shade under $2 million from PCI. And so if you add that up with the other stuff, the state would do $1 million. And then essentially us and Alden would both have 625.
Plus the additional 250 that we're in, right?
No, that would be in that 625. It'd be about 500 for construction and 125 for design.
The numbers are just gonna keep going up.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is, you can say, oh, that's state money,
I
but
don't-
that's still,
But it may not be there next time.
it may not be there if you get a halt in gas tax or road use funds go down. Can you say that that bridge will be a priority to the DOT
Yeah.
at some point?
Yeah,
There's a lot of variables here, and again, $1 million contribution from the state coffers is still $1 million of taxpayers' money, whether it's somebody from Dubuque or Atlantic or in Alden, it's still taxpayer dollars, and to be unaware of what the growth, the exponent will be is troubling.
So I have some comments on that as well. So they had that discussion yesterday. So that $1 million, could it increase to 1.2? Sure. Could the whole thing go away? Sure. So I spoke with the state and we can apply for this funding again. They would have to cancel our current agreement. And then we could apply, because that was my first question to the state, is this a use it or lose it? But we can apply again and we would most likely get it as well.
But how long can they guarantee that?
Yeah,
I mean, that
just
it'll be
year to year. I mean,
available.
yeah, they could
Yeah.
cancel that program anytime they
And
want.
if they're not wanting to do this for a number of years,
Yeah, I don't see it going away, but then again,
I don't want to
Not the
spend their
DOT.
money for them if they don't think they can handle it, but I agree. I mean, the cost is definitely gonna be going up and
I mean, we've
I don't
had
know.
roads financed for us that we paid over 10 years, that Ellsworth Road.
Mhm.
I can see a project like this one's just gonna be expensive, but that is a road that would be really difficult to shut down.
Right.
For all types of traffic. So I hate to force their hand into this without their sitting here, but I would probably lean that way right now.
we'll have to wait till Friday, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Invite them in, make sure they agenda it appropriately, so a majority of their council members and Mayor Fiskus can be here. I think that's appropriate.
For the 8:05 meeting.
So then one more comment, I spoke with Marty Wymore for Region 6,
Okay,
and there is more funding we could try to get. So my only problem with that is, so that's money that we split with, 4 counties and all the cities. And we have a small pool that is kind of for these smaller cities. And Alden is already getting 200 grand of that next year. So like, while we could get some of it paid for that, will all these other counties and cities agree to give Alden, 600? And if we would split that, so like, if it was 600 grand, then 300 would be Alden, 300 would be us. But I mean, I don't know if they're gonna be willing to give it to Alden or not. But that is an option if we wait to the future. I asked Marty and he said 2026 would be the earliest we could get that.
If I remember right, we've been pretty heavy on Hardin County with their spending.
We're getting back into it. Our balance is 300,000 right now. We're, the 4 counties, we're the third. We're in third right now.
I would entertain a motion to table this at this time.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, any
Table.
discussion?
Tabling till when?
Friday morning,
At 8:10.
sure. And Jolene, will you agenda that appropriately as well? Thank you. Okay, that leads me to the next item. I think we can bypass the resolution to execute a contract for said bridge project
Till Friday.
till Friday as well.
Can you change that meeting time, I guess? Yeah. I need to be at school for my kids, so yeah.
Yeah, we can discuss the time afterwards and make sure it's agended appropriately.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep. Okay, next item I have is consideration of the Hardin County Communicable Disease Policy. So, this was developed just partially for your committees, Renee,
Yes, I don't know if Thomas or
Rocky, or
you're on.
you wanna table it until we can get their explanation and input, or it makes no difference to me, Renee, whatever you're most comfortable with.
I saw the biggest highlight in there was if a person looks sick, we have the right to send them home.
Yeah, why don't we just go ahead and table it
Is that a
for
motion?
them? Yes, I'll make a motion to table it.
Okay.
Next week.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion, second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item I have is consideration of IGHCP insurance information. So after our meeting with Denise Ballard from the Iowa Governmental Healthcare Plan, she sent us some options for benefits to start on July 1, 2022 for all of our pool. And we'll need to entertain, or I entertain motions to approve a renewal, whether that's at what percentage you would like that at. So let's discuss that initially, of what renewal percentage you'd like to agree to or enter into contract.
Well, when we looked at it, I think we originally budgeted 5.22,
Correct.
and that will bring our projected carryover to a pretty large dollar amount. Bringing it down to 1%, and that would eat away at our current carryover that we have, so I don't think that's enough. 2% would still build up a little bit of carryover. 1.5 would bring it down just a little bit, but we have a pretty healthy carryover from previously also. So I would suggest anywhere between the 1.5 and 2%.
Okay. Renee?
I mean, I agree, and I don't have a preference on the 1.5 or the 2. There's no need to carry the balance that we currently have, so I agree with using a lower percentage.
I see the 1.5 as a good recruitment and retention tool when it comes to employees. So my suggestion would be the 1.5%.
And with that, we've built up I believe it was right around $100,000 carryover from last year. So it'll eat away at that a little bit, but I don't think we
The
need it.
pool is very healthy
Yeah.
and still maintains some healthy reserves.
Right. So I could go either route on that one.
Okay. Well, I'd entertain a motion for a percentage at this time.
Make a motion to go with the 1.5% percentage.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I think we covered most of that in the discussion, and that'll reflect to the other entities that are part of us. Landfill Recycling, Hubbard, Eldora, and
Ackley
Ackley.
and Iowa Falls Area Development.
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Extension
carries.
office as well.
Yep. The next item with that would be the potential change in dental coverage. Right now, we use Walmart Blue Dental, and there's been some issues with being able, with employees and those covered, to use some of our local dental providers efficiently and effectively. And so we asked for other options to try to be able to support local dentists more equitably without the paperwork issues. The current rate for the Walmart Blue Dental is $91,760 or $36.52. The proposal with the EBS that would open the network up to additional local dentists and would cover preventative dental work. That number would be $96,323.35. So those are the two options that Denise and IGHC presented.
Going through all that, the biggest changes, you're not comparing apples to apples, so diagnostic prevention services. Currently, they're covering 80%, this one would cover 100%.
Right.
That's the positive side. The negative side would be when it comes to orthodontic lifetime maximum. Currently, we're unlimited. This will put a $7,000
Cap on
cap
that.
on it. Just putting those two out, other than that, I believe everything else is the same. But it does open up the ability. Right now, in some cases, some of our local dentists aren't able to go through Walmart Blue Cross. They turn around, they send the check to the employee, and then the employee goes in and pays it. This would take that away.
Right, and there's been other billing hiccups, but yeah. So,
And I think this switching would have a benefit that's going to affect every employee more or less that uses the dental, as far as paying for 100% of the diagnostic and preventive services compared to those that use orthodontic.
But that cap always scares me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
so I entertain a motion to approve either Blue Dental or EDS.
I'll make a motion to approve the EBS. Benefit plan.
I will second that.
Okay, discussion.
Again, that $7,000 cap scares me. It's a $5,000 increase, although we're saving 20% on the diagnostic and preventive services on the bill, but the caps scare me. So just let you know where I'm at.
Okay, I think the trade-off been the preventative services. I think prevention, $1 in prevention goes a lot farther than $1 in correcting the problem. So I think that part of the solution can be increased prevention and encouraging that preventative visits. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next item is consideration of a proposal to convey interest in real property and set public hearing. Sure.
Tee that up for you.
You bet. Morning, Daryl.
Good morning. The trail that goes through steamboat, when you get west of the Iowa River, it goes along the property of John and Joan Schuler. There's a building that existed long before, we acquired the trail, that actually sits on part of the trail right of way or trail property. And so we've been working, it's been over a year now, it's kind of trying to figure out what to do with that building, and because they want to potentially develop that to, serve the traffic on the trail and the river as well. And so this proposal is to convey a portion of the trail, carve out around that building so that they can develop that building that already sits on the, encroaches onto the trail anyway. The idea would be that if the building were ever destroyed, some casualty of some sort, that piece that we're carving out would revert back to the county. So the idea is that this is going to enhance the trail and reduce county liability. There were various options how to achieve this, whether through an easement or whatever, but thought just conveying it would eliminate the liability for the county. So that's what's under consideration, and the engineer's office went out, found the pins and did the measuring and laid out the description and everything. So just ask for a public hearing to be set on that. So
Do you have a suggested date, Daryl?
30th, probably give us some time to get publication and
Okay. So I'd entertain a motion to set the time and date for a public hearing for March 30th at 9:02 a.m. large conference room of the Hardin County Courthouse.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
Daryl.
you.
Next item I have is a Honeybee Proclamation. Stephanie Myers from the Hubbard area. She is a member of an advocacy group for the honey producers in Iowa, submitted a proclamation for our consideration, and I'll read it before entertaining a motion to approve or no motion. Whereas honeybees and native insects are important as pollinators for a third of the food we eat, honeybees are vital in production of over 90 crops grown across the nation, many of which are in Iowa. Honeybees contribute to a healthy Iowa environment by assuring the availability of fruits, vegetables, nuts, and flowers for wildlife in all Iowans. And whereas Iowa's 45,000 or more honeybee hives produce about 4 million pounds of honey valued at over $8 million, and honeybees provide an estimated $92 million in economic value to Iowa crops from their pollination. And whereas Iowa has over 4,500 honey beekeepers representing hobbyists, sideliners as part-time small businesses, and full-time commercial beekeepers. Beekeepers have as few as 1 to 2 hives in a single apiary to 100 apiaries with thousands of hives of individual commercial operations. And whereas traditionally beekeeping occurred in rural Iowa, now beehives are increasingly in urban areas with the rising interest of hobby beekeepers that keep honeybees in Iowa cities and towns. And whereas the state of Iowa has an active apiary program that protects honeybees and beekeepers by inspecting for apiary diseases and pests, as well as actively encouraging best beekeeping practices by outreach to individuals and beekeeping groups. And whereas honeybees face serious threats from invasive pests and disease, decreasing bee-friendly habitat, variable climate and pesticide and herbicide pressure. Iowa Honeybee Day, we encourage all citizens, residents, and visitors to join in observing this day and focusing on the importance of honeybees to our state economy, to enjoy the honey and other products of the hive, to recognize the honeybees' roles in maintaining our environment, and assist in reducing the threats to honeybee survival in the state.
I will make a motion to approve the Honeybee Proclamation.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Neighbor raises them, and that's where we get ours from.
I know a lot of people, when I registered my hives, that there's a lot of people in the area that raise or have hives and colonies. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next I have is consideration of approving the Hardin County Conservation Annual Report.
Is Wes on there by chance?
Didn't see him this morning.
Okay, well, I read through it and see what they did for the year.
And this was available online for the public as well as in the auditor's office.
So we'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the conservation's 2021 annual report.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. Any discussion?
I'd like it if they came in quarterly and just gave us some updates.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next I have is consideration of the recorder's monthly report for the month of February.
Motion to approve the recorder's monthly report.
I'll second.
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item I have is the consideration of Sheriff McDaniel's monthly report for the month of February.
I'll make a motion to approve sheriff's monthly report.
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next thing I have is a change of status for the Hardin County Sheriff's Office for consideration of the hiring of Sean Mcknight as a sheriff's deputy at a rate of $26.50 effective March 21st, 2022.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
motion carries. Next I have is a resignation of part-time dispatcher Emma Inks effective March 3rd, 2022. Emma just isn't able to cover any shifts at this time.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Any other business? Lance,
No.
Renee?
Nothing.
Okay, I have nothing. I can ask for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you.